The 1,200-acre Hornsby Bend Biosolids Management Plant is located in southeast Austin, just east of the airport on FM 973. It's open dawn to dusk, 7 days a week, year-round. And welcome to the spring Introduction to Birds and Birding class for Travis Audubon. I'm Laurie Foss.
I'm Sharon Richardson.
We're here to help you learn how to bird and be a birder. So the first thing we want to talk about is if you're going out birding, what do you need and how do you dress? Sharon?
Well, you definitely want to dress in layers because often the morning starts pretty cool, like this morning is pretty chilly. And then as the day gets warmer, start peeling off your layers, but always be prepared. Dress maybe warmer than you would ever think you would be. You're not walking fast, you're stopping a lot and strolling, so you aren't going to work up a big sweat. I always like to wear a hat because it shades my eyes from the sun. I don't tend to want to wear sunglasses because that would be difficult with my binoculars. Like to wear closed-toed shoes. Boots are always a good idea. You never know when you're going to walk across a muddy field. I do like to have a birding bag with me that has my water and my bird guide, maybe a couple of guides, one for ducks at a distance, I like that. Notebook and paper, hand wipes, hand sanitizer, lens cleaner, and of course my binoculars.
While we're out here at Hornsby Bend, I want to make sure that I introduce you to the building that's behind me. It's called the Center for Environmental Research. It's the first building you come to when you arrive at Hornsby Bend, and it's where you'll leave your cars if you want to carpool with somebody. This building is used by the City of Austin Water Department, and it is also has a beautiful auditorium, and Travis Audubon holds many classes here in the auditorium.
Often this is open to the public for restroom use. It's currently closed at the moment.
One of the things that's really important as a newer birder is learning how to use binoculars. First things first, I want to make sure that your binoculars are clean. So if you have some binoculars, be sure to have them with you. Take down your eye cups if they've already been screwed up, and take out your lens cleaning cloth and clean your binoculars. Sharon?
And I do not wear glasses, so I have my lens caps fully extended, but if I did wear glasses, then you'd want to roll them down for sure.
That's right. So one thing that you want to do when you're starting to use binoculars is remember not to see a bird and try to find it with your binoculars. Don't do this. That's going to give you vertigo. You're going to get sick. Nobody likes that. So what I want you to do is, if a bird has flown into a tree, I want you to think of that tree as if it has the face of a clock on it. And I want you to think that bird has flown into 1 o'clock, and put your eyes on 1 o'clock in that tree and leave them there and bring your binoculars up while you stay there and then focus.
Okay, so I'm seeing a bird in the tree. It looks like it's at 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock in the tree that's right in front of us?
In the tree directly in front of us and about a foot in. 1 o'clock and then come maybe about a foot in.
So if this is my clock, 1 o'clock is going to be high and right. So I've got my eyes on that spot, and I'm going to bring my binoculars up. Oh, it's a yellow-rumped warbler.
Yeah.
Nice, thank you. Well, while we're here at the Center for Environmental Research, also called the CER, this is a perfect place to start your birding when you're out at Hornsby Bend. The trees that are behind me are mostly pecan trees, and they attract a number of different species of birds all year long. And the trees that line the parking lot are very full of birds, especially in the winter. You'll find yellow-rumped warblers, chipping sparrows, you name it. And behind us are the purple martin gourds.
The purple martins have just started arriving, and we saw several as we were standing here. And they'll just be arriving in bigger numbers as the springtime continues.
In front of the CER is this vast field with some trees in it and a little equipment. And you should be sure to scan this field when you come here for a resident red-shouldered hawk that likes to hang out on that metal equipment, and crested caracaras that like to perch on the hay bales.
And we have birds on the wire, and right now you see that there are some purple martins perched up on the wire.
Eastern meadowlarks are singing behind us, and you can also find a variety of grassland birds in this area. Well, here we are at the intersection of Pond 1 East and Pond 1 West, and we've parked here. This is a great place to start your birding at the ponds. There's a kiosk here that's got some interpretive information for you, and I encourage you to take a look at that when you get here for the first time. We're going to walk this way just a little bit. Be sure you check these wires for birds. Right now we have great-tailed grackles on them. But also in this area we're going to find things like Savannah sparrows, killdeer,
Great-tailed grackles,
house sparrows, and behind us you'll see all this equipment.
This is a working operation, and they manufacture dillo dirt here, fertilizer you can put on your lawn.
So always be aware that this is a working plant, and there are rules for birding at Hornsby Bend. One of them is that you don't leave the roadway here. You don't cross the road, and you don't walk over there. There are times where these drying beds are full of puddles of water, and there are lots of shorebirds there, and you are required to stay up here on the road to view them. Do not go down there. One person can ruin it for everybody, and we just don't want that to happen. This is really a great place to get started on the ponds. Pond 1 West is typically the shallowest of the ponds, and our plan was to park here, as we've done, and now we're going to go and bird down this road a little bit, so why don't you join us?
Least sandpipers. They have yellow legs. Can't always see that because they get them muddy.
Here we are, we've parked between Pond 1 West and Pond 2. Pond 2 is the longest pond out here, and on the far side is a birding blind. So what we're going to do is walk this way a little bit and see if we can get closer to the west end of Pond 1 West, because that's where some of the more interesting ducks can be. Before we do that though, I want to be sure that you know how to use a spotting scope. Frequently, when you're on a field trip, there will be somebody who has a spotting scope, and it will be happy for you to take a look through it. And there are rules and there's a protocol for it. Unwritten, but I want you to know it because I want you to be a good field trip participant. So let's take a look at a spotting scope. Well, here we are, everyone, at my spotting scope. This is a Swarovski 65mm angled scope. And being the class leader, I have a scope that everyone is able to use, and I always set it for the shortest person in the class. Many times you'll be on a field trip and someone has brought their personal spotting scope. They're probably going to be happy for you to take a look through it, but don't assume. Always wait to be invited to look through their spotting scope. So I've got a tripod and a spotting scope, and this is the focus. And if I'm scanning all these crazy ducks out here, I'm going to find a duck and I'm going to put it into the scope and I'm going to focus on it and I'm going to say, hey, I've got a bufflehead. And Sharon is going to come right up and someone else on the field trip is going to be in line waiting to see that bird. Sharon has adjusted the eye cup because she's not wearing glasses. She's going to count 1 hummingbird, 2 hummingbirds, 3 hummingbirds. Her time is up, and she steps to the side to give Laurie a chance. Laurie puts the eye cup down because she's wearing glasses and gets to take a look at the bufflehead for 1 hummingbird, 2 hummingbirds, 3 hummingbirds, and she steps aside for someone behind her to step up. Once everyone has had their initial look at a really great bird like a bufflehead, it's okay to then say, I'd like another look if you don't mind, and then come back up and do that. But your first look should be about 3 seconds long. You don't want to be a scope hog. Take a look at that bird, ooh and ah, get back to the back of the line. That's how you share a spotting scope on a field trip. Well, here we are on the road between Pond 2 and Pond 1 West. And we're going to bird this road behind me because we want to get as close to the west corner of this pond as we can. That's where the interesting ducks can be and sometimes some really neat shorebirds too. So why don't you come with us? What we're looking at here is a killdeer. It's in the plover family. You don't always find them in the by the water. Here at Hornsby Bend, there's a lot of water, so you're going to find a lot of killdeer here. They nest on the ground. Beautiful white breast and that double necklace. Really easy to distinguish a killdeer from other members of its family. And when they call, they say their name. Killdeer, killdeer. These are Wilson snipe. You've heard of going on a snipe hunt. Well, this is the real life version of what a Wilson snipe looks like. They're chunky shorebirds with very long bills. The end of that bill can articulate so that they can shove it down into the muck and they can feel what's down there, and if they find something, they can actually open the tip of that bill while they're down in the muck feeding. They have a beautifully patterned back with white streaks on a brown background and barred flanks. We get a lot of them at Hornsby Bend in the wintertime. This is 2 examples of Wilson snipe. Here we are at the bird blind on Pond 2, and this bird blind is, it's got a history. It was built using reclaimed wood from Liberty Lunch. Some of you old-time Austinites will remember Liberty Lunch. So this bench is a popular place for people to come and watch the birds at, and there's some people here now. Let's go see what's going on. Hey there. I don't think we've met before. I'm Laurie.
I'm Julie.
Really?
After.
Yeah,
Sure, this
I'm
is Sharon.
Hi, Sharon.
It's really nice to meet you and our cameraman, Jeff. Do you guys come out here very often?
I do. I come every weekend, and I like to bring my special people here.
I do too. What are you seeing this morning?
We've seen a whole bunch of northern shovelers and some coots mixed in there. Lots of hemlock also. We've been noticing the plants along the pond. And some cleavers, some nice edible plants popping up as well. But yeah, so many shovelers, more than I've seen in a while.
That's incredible. Looking at some ducks on Pond 2. There's a beautiful redhead right in the center of the camera. We're looking at quite a few northern shovelers. It's exciting to see so many ducks late in the season. We're filming in early February of 2021. The northern shovelers are the birds with the white breast and the big patch of chestnut on their side. Well, this is the road we just came in on, and the bird blind is right behind our camera. Walking down this way, there are a couple of things I'd like to show you.
So right off here to our left, we have a chimney swift tower, and this was designed by Georgianne and Paul Kyle of Katura Canyon fame, designed to attract roosting chimney swifts. You can find more information about it on the kiosk.
Down this way is the trailhead for the river trail. The river trail goes all the way back to the corner where we parked at earlier, and in this direction you can follow this trail all the way to Platte Lane. We're not going that far today, but I would like to take you a little ways on the river trail, so why don't you join us? Well, we've come all the way down that trail and we've come to an intersection. In the winter, you can see that all the trees are dormant right now. It's a great time to be able to see woodpeckers as they fly around through the trees. The intersection we've come to is important because if you turn in this direction down the trail, you get back to that north end of Pond 2 that we stopped at. If you go this way up the trail, you'll go all the way to Platte Lane if you don't stop in time. It's a great way to get to Pond 3 and along the river. So what we're going to do at this point, though, is go to the Upper Island View Trail. And you'll be able to see why it's called that in just a minute. Let's go. Here we are at the Upper Island View Trail. We're just going to walk up in a little ways to show you what this trail is like. It's a pretty skinny trail compared to many of the walkways we've been on at Hornsby Bend. A lot of trees came down in a storm a few years ago, and you really see the evidence of it here. But a lot of bugs and a lot of birds like this dead wood that's down.
We're hearing a lot of interesting bird sounds, and we just heard some monk parakeets over the river.
This is one of my favorite trees out here at Hornsby Bend. I just think it's magnificent. It's along the Upper Island View Trail. And here we are at the actual Upper Island View that the trail leads to. Right now the water is really low, and so we're seeing that the island doesn't exactly look like an island, and that's okay. It will again. There's frequently a red-shouldered hawk that hangs out down there. Is it there now?
Yeah, it just flew over.
Oh,
A couple of them.
a couple of them, I hear them.
Northern cardinal came in.
A lot of bird activity here today, and also right across at the top of the cliff, you can see the lights of a sports complex, and nesting in those lights are monk parakeets, and quite a few of them. And if you're on a field trip where someone has brought a scope, you can get a nice look at them through the scope. They're fun to watch, and they're fun to listen to. So I recommend coming here and spending a few minutes watching the birds at the water's edge, looking for ringed kingfisher, belted kingfisher, a variety of herons and egrets, as well as sparrows and other small perching birds. This is a favorite part of the trip to Hornsby Bend for me, and I hope you get a chance to come here.
Alright, we just came down the Upper Island View Trail, and now we're going to take the river trail toward Pond 3.
might recognize this intersection. This is where all the action starts. So here we go. Come on. So we've walked a little distance on the river trail now, traveling west, and we've seen eastern bluebirds,
Ruby crowned kinglet,
northern cardinals, we saw,
red-shouldered hawk.
right? There's a couple of double-crested cormorants flying over the river. So this is an interesting part of Hornsby Bend just to hike. It's nice and covered. It's a wooded setting.
All right, this is the direction we just came from. We just walked through the greenhouse. It was really interesting. And we're about to take one of two roads. We have a low road and a high road, but we're going to take the high road to Pond 3. So let's go.
We just approached Pond 3, and what you're seeing now is the ditch that you encounter, and fortunately for us, we have some water in it right now. As we continue to pan left, you'll begin to see Pond 3 itself. This is an ephemeral pond. It doesn't always have water in it, though it has for the last several years had water in it. And this is where you can find some of the woodland type ducks, like wood ducks and mergansers, as well as the usual ducks that we've seen at Hornsby Bend. One of the more important birds that we've seen here recently is the rusty blackbird. They're here from time to time, and they are in steep decline and a bird of special interest, so they're always fun to see, and you can expect to see them near water because they like to keep their feet wet. Well, that's a wrap, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed your day at Hornsby Bend with us. How many species did we see, Sharon?
We had 41 species.
Sharon kept an eBird list for us today. I hope you'll take some time to discover eBird. We'll cover it in class, and we used it today. 41 species. Now that the sun is coming out, the pond looks glorious, the ducks are happy and feeding, and having a great time. I hope you find time yourselves to come out here to Hornsby Bend, whether for a morning or an afternoon or even a day. I think you'll find you'll be well rewarded by spending time out at Hornsby Bend.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
It's been a great day.
Yeah. That's a wrap.